There's a moment about 6 minutes into this film where everything slows down. The camera isn't doing anything flashy. There's no dialogue, just three men squinting under the weight of the desert sun, their hands twitching near their holstered pistols. A chicken flaps in the distance, the wind rolls in like a low drum roll. And then a sudden burst of violence over as quickly as it began. It's in that exact moment where you realize what kind of movie you're watching. Not just a western, not just a story about bounty hunters and buried gold, but a film that weaponizes silence more effectively than most films use sound.
I'm very sorry, but the store's closing.
And that's the thing, silence is an absence, not here. In Sergio Leone's world, silence is presence.
My films are basically silent films. The dialogue just adds some wit.
It's tension, it's storytelling. Every pause, every held glance, every moment where no one speaks, it says something. And what it says depends on who's listening. Let's backtrack. By 1966, the Western genre had gotten comfortable. The American version of it, at least. Clean-cut cowboys, justice through six-shooters, heroes with morals, villains without. But Leone, he didn't care about that.
You can show a Leone movie to a group of cinema students who've only heard about it as an abstract name. The students completely respond to Leone because they see him as a modern filmmaker.
He wasn't interested in white hats and black hats. He was interested in stares, sweat, dust, greed, and death. He brought an outsider's eye to a deeply American mythos, and in doing so, he dismantled it. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly isn't just the best of his Dollars trilogy, it's the apex of a style, a masterclass in how to slow time down without losing grip of momentum. There's a reason the final duel in the cemetery has become iconic for cinematic tension, because it shouldn't work. Three men standing still for 3 long minutes. No dialogue, no bullets fired, just extreme close-ups, Ennio Morricone's score, and the audience holding their breath like it's life or death. And in a way, it was. But to get why it works, you've got to look at how the entire film sets it up. Silence isn't just used randomly, it's not some artsy gimmick, it's a calculated rhythm. Leone creates a language where pauses are punctuation marks.
You thought I'd trust you?
Tuco, the so-called ugly, talks the most.
Whoever double-crosses me and leaves me alive, he understands nothing about Tuco.
He's impulsive and rash, but even he knows when to shut up.
When you have to shoot, shoot, don't talk.
There's a scene where he and Blondie, otherwise known as the Good, are making their way through the desert. Tuco has the upper hand, and he won't stop talking. He mocks, he lectures, and he rants.
Drink.
Blondie doesn't say a word, not because he's defeated, but because silence here hurts more. Every word Tuco throws is a punch, and Blondie absorbs it like a stone. That scene flips the power dynamic through quiet. Later, when the roles are reversed, Blondie doesn't gloat.
You traitor, you talked.
No, I didn't talk. If I did, I probably wouldn't be here now.
Leone trusts the viewer to feel it. Then there's Angel Eyes, the bad, played with cold precision by Lee Van Cleef.
Not that you're any tougher than Tuco, but you're smart enough to know that talking won't save you.
He doesn't waste breath. Every word he speaks feels like a loaded weapon. But the menace here is built through what he doesn't say. His introduction is a perfect example. He calmly eats a meal in a poor man's home, all while pressing for information.
When I start off to find somebody, I find them. That's why they pay me.
The pauses between his questions, the way his eyes linger, those are the real threats.
That's your family? Yes. Nice family.
The audience isn't scared of what he says, they're scared of what he's about to do. And Leone's camera helps tell the story. His signature close-ups are legendary for a reason. He makes you stare at faces longer than you're comfortable with. You see the tension in every muscle, the twitch of an eyelid, the way sweat drips down a cheek. When there's no talking, these moments feel almost claustrophobic. like you're trapped in that silence with them. There's nowhere else to look. But what elevates it all is Ennio Morricone. That score isn't just background, it's conversation. It plays with timing, it stretches moments, teases outcomes. And in the finale, when the three leads face off, the music becomes the only voice. A lot of modern films mistake silence for dead space. They cut away, they insert a line, they add exposition. But Leone treated silence like its own character, and in doing so, he forced the audience to engage. You can't zone out during a Leone pause. You lead in. You ask, what's about to happen? And that question is what makes the eventual violence feel so impactful. Because when the silence breaks, it means something. So why does any of this matter now? Why does a spaghetti western from the 60s still hit this hard?
Even when Judas hanged himself, there was a storm too.
Because it understood something timeless. The loudest moments are only loud because of the quiet that comes before them. In a media world filled with snappy dialogue, quick cuts, wall-to-wall noise, the good, the bad, and the ugly dares to breathe. It stretches, it lets moments hang. And honestly, that takes guts. There's this idea that storytelling has to move fast or people will get bored. But this film shows how pacing is more about intention than speed. The silence isn't there to drag, it's there to build.
Peaceful and quiet, amigo.
That's why people still talk about the final standoff. It's not because of the music or the editing or the framing. It's because we've earned it.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. We're gonna have to earn it.
The silence is what gave it weight. And then there's the desert. Wide, empty spaces, lonely skies, dust storms. Leone wasn't just showing off cool landscapes, he was painting a mood. The vastness creates a sense of insignificance. These men, chasing money, betraying each other, and killing, they're just ants on a rock. The silence of the landscape reflects the silence inside them. None of these guys talk about their pasts. They don't monologue about philosophy. You see what drives them.
But you know the pity is when I'm paid. I always follow my job through. You know that.
Not through speeches, but through choices, through pauses, and through silence. The title might sound like a joke, the good, the bad, and the ugly, but the movie isn't really about morality. It's about survival. It's about men navigating a world where rules are loose, trust is scarce, and silence is safer than the truth. Nobody is who they pretend to be, and silence helps keep the masks on. And in a weird way, that silence lingers past the credits. You start to notice it in real life. The way people pause before saying something important, the gaps between questions in tense conversations. Leone doesn't just teach us how to watch a movie differently, he taught us how to listen, or more importantly, how to let a moment exist without rushing to fill it. In the end, the good, the bad, and the ugly isn't just a western, it's a blueprint. A lesson in restraint. A reminder that sometimes the best way to say something is to say nothing at all.